We're monitoring continued threats for flash flooding and storms across southern Wisconsin. Your updated forecast right now at 10.
And the future of the F-35 jets in Madison. Representatives from the National Guard addressing concerns face-to-face tonight at Alliant Energy Center.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
Strong storms roll through southern Wisconsin. This video shot tonight near Dodgeville. We're getting reports of a handful of washed out roads. Torrential rainfall, lightning, wind, all factors tonight. Thank you for joining us. That string of storms is still making its way across the viewing area tonight.
That's prompted several weather advisories along its path, including several flash flood warnings. Also, the Boscobel School District has just canceled classes for tomorrow. That is due to unpassable roads. Let's go right to Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti with the very latest, our first alert forecast.
Well, Eric, the line of thunderstorms continues to move through southern Wisconsin. The severe weather threat is lessening a little bit, but the flash flooding threat is increasing. Look at the areas under flash flood warnings. These are current warnings. Madison, Dane County under flash flood warning until 12:15 a.m. Areas out near the Mississippi River have been under flash flood warnings much of the evening, and now they're being reissued until 3:30 for parts of Crawford County, for example, because of very heavy rain. This is just over the last 12 hours. 2 to 4 inches of rain in the area around Prairie du Chien, also parts of southern Iowa County and Lafayette County. That's where the heaviest rains have been. You can see this line of storms moving eastward through the Madison area right now. Out to the west, things are starting to settle down. The severe thunderstorm watch is being canceled for areas west of north and west of Lone Rock. So that watch in effect until 2 a.m., but much of that will start to be canceled early. The flash flood watches remain in effect until 1 a.m. for areas west of Lone Rock. East of there, including Madison, watch is in effect until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Look at the difference in temperatures today. High temperatures, lower 80s over southwestern Wisconsin, lower 60s to our north. That was the temperature contrast that fueled these storms. And right now, temperatures are still in the 60s and 70s with dew point temperatures around 70, so the air is just loaded with moisture. Showers and storms lend overnight. Tomorrow should be a much nicer day, partly sunny skies. It'll be breezy and cooler with a high temperature of 72. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
All right, Gary, thank you. Crews in the city of Beloit are still working to make repairs caused by storms last night. The city had 19 reports of flooding, but one area along the Rock River is now a major concern, at risk of being washed away. The city working to fill the hole with boulders and also reroute the gas that runs through that area. Beloit Public Works says they'll simply continue filling that hole until the weather will no longer allow it.
The weather tonight also putting a bit of a damper on Madison's last night market of the year. It was cut short as the storm rolled in, but the market still had a successful season. In its third year of running, the market organizers say they are already planning ahead to 2020. And you can stay up to date and prepared on the go by downloading our Channel 3000 First Alert weather and traffic app. It includes interactive radar, up to the hour forecast, even a 10-day forecast. And it's all free right now on the Channel 3000 First Alert weather app. Next at 10, if the 115th Fighter Wing gets new and more advanced jets, its neighbors will see a significant impact.
And that's according to an environmental impact statement out last month. Amy Reed shows us how those neighbors got their voices heard at the Air National Guard meeting tonight.
Close your eyes and listen. The sounds that fill the northeast side could be anywhere in nature. But in this quiet neighborhood, one sets it apart. The people on this street said you get used to that sound, but not all agree. When F-16s fly instead of commercial planes, sound isn't a one-sense experience for Diane Walder.
The pain in my ears, because I have tinnitus, which is a hearing disorder. I get these very sharp pains in my ears, and I have to plug my ears, and it's extremely painful.
The thought of getting new jets, one she thinks will be louder, it's unbearable to her.
If these jets come through, life will be absolutely unlivable.
That's why she's at this meeting.
The jets are flying over today, and they're much louder than my vacuum cleaner.
Along with hundreds of others, making noise to prevent another. Lieutenant Colonel Charlie Merkel said the Air Guard studies show the new jets wouldn't be much different than what's there now.
The actual measured decibels are actually very close to the measured decibels of the F-16.
And others in the Guard say the change could be crucial to keeping the base around years into the future.
If the F-16s, our F-16s phase out or run out of flight hours or things like that, then we could potentially, what happens then, we just don't know. And so what we're trying to do is secure our future.
Mike Higgins, who works on the Northeast side, doesn't get the opposition. He works for the Carpenters Union and sees only good in the new project.
We're talking about a $90 to $120 million job with Davis-Bacon rules involved with this, which means any contractor that does this job will be paying prevailing wages and benefits.
Public comment was split throughout the night, and the Guard still has more time to go. So this sound, the one of dissent, is one this group might be getting used to, too.
It's not the right place for these jets. They need to be someplace isolated where there aren't, people trying to just live a quiet life.
The Air National Guard is looking at 5 locations across the U.S. for these jets, but Madison is one of the 2 preferred locations, along with one in Montgomery, Alabama. If you have an opinion on that, you have until September 27th to put in your comment.
Amy, thank you. The top 10 polling Democratic presidential candidates are in Houston tonight. Round 3 of debates. Participants needed to reach a certain threshold in the polls and also in the number of unique donors in order to participate. Healthcare, tariffs on China, and gun reform, all topics of conversation tonight. Closing arguments are expected tomorrow in the trial of former priest William Nolan. He testified in his own defense today, saying that he was dumbfounded to hear the allegations. He's facing 6 felony charges, accused of sexually assaulting a former altar boy in Fort Atkinson.
Many accusations that he had sexual contact with you whilst in that office on the upper left-hand corner of exhibit number 9, right?
Yes.
You heard him say that?
Yes.
How does that make you feel?
Mad, angry.
Why?
Because it didn't happen.
Prosecution questioned Nolan about a statement he gave to a detective last year. Nolan was asked whether he ever kissed the accuser, and he said he did not recall. He testified that kissing a child would not be memorable because on occasion he would kiss children at church on the forehead.
New court documents are shedding light on what led the former Madison School and Community Recreation Executive Director to be charged with 12 counts of possession of child porn. The Madison School District says as of today, 44-year-old Jacob Tissue is no longer employed with them. According to the criminal complaint, detectives searched hundreds of emails, finding 48 child erotica images and 12 images meeting the Wisconsin law's definition of child pornography. The original tip came to them from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Tissue is due back in court at the end of the month. Tonight, Wisconsin Dells turns purple through lights, posters, and electronic billboards.
It's all for someone who has made a shining impression on her community. Gabriella Becerra shares her story.
She'd always go, "Hey, chicas," or "Hey, sisters."
There's more than a few things that make Heather Field Sweet special to her friends.
Heather Field, born and raised here in this town. Everybody knew Heather. She lit up a room.
But they say it was her laugh that did it the most.
Heard that laugh, you knew Heather was in the room. And it just like you lit up.
When Heather was diagnosed with cancer 5 weeks ago,
it was a shock. It was a shock.
They knew they had to do something special.
There's people been by her side from day one, because she would have been by our side. You just take care of your people.
So tonight they lit up the Wisconsin Dells purple in her honor.
That's the important thing about living in this town is when something happens to one of our own, they rally, and they rally big. And Heather was a part of many of those rallies, and now she's unfortunately got her own.
Heather died early this morning.
I wish that she was still here to see how much she's loved, and I hope she knows that.
And tonight they celebrate her life.
Our lives will never be the same. They're better because of her, but we will go on because she wanted us to go on. And we will be okay, just not today.
In Wisconsin Dells, Gabriella Becerra, News 3 Now.
Tonight also served as a fundraiser. All donations made will go to a scholarship in Heather's name and honor. Still ahead tonight, it is undoubtedly the next generation of cell phone technology.
We've seen the ads for 5G, but what exactly is it and how long will it take to get to Madison? The News 3 Now exclusive is next. You may have heard about 5G cell service. It simply means the 5th generation of cell phone technology, and it is coming to Madison eventually.
But just exactly what is it, and how will it impact our lives? We asked Mark Kane to get some answers. Turns out it's complicated.
5G, the 5th generation of cell service, promises speeds of up to 100 times faster than the current 4G service.
With 5G, what we're supposed to be able to do, the specification by the Internet Telecommunications Union.
There is one.
There is one. They say a minimum of 1 million devices per square kilometer.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so I went and looked it up. Madison, about 1,100 people per square kilometer. So like between you and me, that's 2,000 devices each.
All 4 major U.S. carriers have some sort of 5G service, but it's only in a few cities and only in a few neighborhoods. Verizon has spotty service in Chicago and Minneapolis, and that's partly because 5G requires its own cell antennas. Wireless companies in the U.S. say they'll need to install 300,000 new antennas for the rollout of 5G. An antenna every couple of blocks, like this experimental one at Westtown Mall in Madison. That's going to be a challenge for cities.
When it comes to public land and public right-of-way, they're going to have to work with the city. So that could mean poles, light poles, city buildings, anything that might be public infrastructure in the public right-of-way. Typically, that's where they will be located.
The companies have to get permits before any antennas can be installed, and that process is pretty strict in Madison.
The guidelines are in place for a reason. From FCC regulation, for health concerns, for public right-of-way and public infrastructure standpoint. Those are all in place to try to protect that.
So once everything's in place, then what? First, you'll need one of the few pricey 5G compatible phones, like the $1,300 Samsung S10 5G. And how fast is 5G? Well, one of the biggest challenges in testing the signal is finding it in the first place. But once you do, it's pretty darn fast.
It's going to be really nice at first, then it's going to get pretty crowded. Then we're going to find out they'll have to solve this problem where we can't get through walls.
Yeah, it's a little inconvenient to have to be outside to use your phone. Yes, you heard right. Cell companies are now focused on speed. They're using something called the millimeter wave. It's the fastest and most responsive form of 5G, but it doesn't travel very far.
The minimum speed you should expect as a user would only be double what you get right about now.
It's pretty fast now.
It's reasonably fast. People seem to want to be able to download an entire movie in 10 seconds. I don't know who can watch them that fast, right? But the argument that always comes up is, oh dear, I really have to get on a plane. Quick, I have 10 seconds. Get me the nearest movie.
So in order for 5G to be more reliable, companies will use mid and low band frequencies. It won't be as fast, but it'll work both outdoors and inside buildings.
So round trip time from my device to its destination and back in a millisecond? It takes you about 100 milliseconds to blink. So this would be the stuff that's ultra reliable and low latency. It's going to be more robust. We're going to have more of these antennas around. If we end up in this high spectrum, we're going to need more of it.
The FCC is trying to free up more frequencies.
We're going to have to allocate more space in those lower bands, preferably in the low bands, because then you can go up to Hayward and have your movie in 10 seconds.
Faster phones are just an incidental benefit of 5G. Without it, there'd be no self-driving cars or robotic surgeries.
They're talking about the traffic lights being online. They're talking about flood detection being online, flood sensors. When we start to automate all of these things and we automate all these sensors and then the things that go and address the sensors, you get a smarter city.
5G right now is a work in progress. The 4 major carriers promise nationwide coverage by the end of next year. And when will we see it in Madison? Stay tuned. I'm Mark Kane, News 3 Now.
And once 5G service eventually makes its way here, don't worry, your current 4G phone will work just fine.
Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joining us. If they had flood sensors tonight, they might be going off. We've got a lot of water in some parts of our viewing area.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a tremendous amount of thunderstorm activity. We've had flooding, we've had some severe weather, but hopefully things will start winding down over the next few hours. These are current flash flood warnings. I don't think I can ever remember an area so large in encompassing such a large area for flash flood warnings, with basically they extend from eastern Iowa through the Madison area and up into central Columbia County and then down into parts of northern Illinois. The warnings in the Madison area run until 12:15, but areas out near the Mississippi River, like across Crawford County and into Richland County, those warnings have been reissued because the flash flooding continues on, even though much of the rain is over with in that area, or at least winding down. Future track precipitation shows the heaviest rain shifting east, perhaps another inch or so in most areas before the storms come to an end. But this is rainfall just over the last 12 hours. Precipitation estimates about 2 to 4 inches in the Prairie du Chien area, also down across parts of Lafayette County, and a general 1 to 2 inches of rain through much of the rest of southern Wisconsin. That's on top of about 2 to 5 inches of rain that has fallen over the last 3 or 4 days. This line of thunderstorms is dumping heavy amounts of rain along with a lot of lightning, but the severe weather threat has lessened quite a bit. There could be some gusty winds on the front edge of it. We haven't had any severe thunderstorm warnings in the last hour and a half or so. The severe thunderstorm watch continues until 2 a.m., but that'll be canceled once the line of storms passes. And you can see a secondary line here with a couple of flashes of lightning heading up toward Camp Douglas. But at least over Grant County, the area that has been hardest hit, the rain is starting to end there and should be over with by sometime early tomorrow morning. Severe weather reports, haven't had a lot of them. A couple of wind damage reports and a tornado report out in northeastern Iowa near Ossian. Possible tornado touchdown with some damage there. But again, the severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 2 a.m. east of Lone Rock. I think the areas west of Dane County will be cleared out pretty quickly over the next hour or so, in Dane County probably within the next 1 to 2 hours. Flash flood watch continues until 7 a.m. for much of southern Wisconsin. Areas west of Lone Rock until 1 a.m. They've canceled the watch for Juneau and Adams counties because most of the heavier rain has stayed south of that area. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. Obviously, you can tell it's been raining here. High today 72, the low 60. Fortunately, we've been on the cool side of a warm front, so that's kept our severe weather threat down a bit. 69 the current temperature with thunderstorms going on. Humidity at 93%. Dew point temperature still in the upper 60s. Look at the difference in high temperatures today. Only 50 near Superior, almost 90 in Waterloo, Iowa. When you see a temperature contrast like that, you know the atmosphere is primed for some severe weather. And current temperatures range from 50 in Superior to the low 70s over southwestern Wisconsin, and those winds are starting to shift to a westerly direction over Iowa. That will start to put an end to the severe weather threat. So severe thunderstorm watch in effect till 2 a.m. for much of the area. Flash flood watch is in effect overnight. Look for showers and thunderstorms to gradually come to an end by morning. Low temperature dropping to 62. And then tomorrow should be a partly sunny, breezy, and less humid day with a high temperature of 72. It'll give us a chance to dry out. Future track takes the thunderstorms out of here by early tomorrow morning. Low temperatures in the lower 60s. Tomorrow, partly sunny, high temperatures, lower 70s. Tomorrow night will clear out, turn a little cooler with low temperatures in the lower 50s. And then we'll be back up into the mid to upper 70s on Saturday with sunny skies. Thunderstorm chance will arrive Saturday night into Sunday morning. Again, the heaviest rains will now be east of Madison, perhaps another inch or two over the next couple of hours. But as we look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, you'll see how another chance of thunderstorms arrives Saturday night into Sunday morning. Following that, you can see those temperatures staying in the low 80s for much of next week, and humidity levels will be fairly high too. Some thunderstorms toward the end of the week will give us a nice weekend the following weekend with temperatures in the upper 60s and less humidity.
Wow. All right, Gary, thank you.
You're welcome.
Aaron Rodgers says a fast start is critical for the Packers against the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday. We'll hear from number 12 in sports.
Brewers general manager David Stearns confirmed today what was reported last night. Christian Yelich won't need surgery on his broken right kneecap. The good news is that'll shorten his recovery time, but Stearns says it still wouldn't be quick enough for Yelich to play again this year, even if the Brewers would somehow make it to the World Series. Well, they look for a sweep in Miami this afternoon. Ryan Braun can't play every day because of his bad back, but he played today and he hit the big homer, a 2-run job to break a 1-1 tie, give the Brewers a 3-run lead. Combination of good Brewers pitching and not so good Marlins hitting made it stand up. Here's the final out as Josh Hader gets the strikeout. And can you believe it? The Brewers won 7 in a row. They're not going away anytime soon. Final is Brewers 3, Marlins 2. The Brewers are at St. Louis starting tomorrow night. Cubs, though, keep pace with Milwaukee, winning in San Diego this afternoon. Yu Darvish has been pitching great lately. He does again today. 6 innings, 14 strikeouts. Final is Cubs 4, Padres 1. So the Cubs and Brewers remain tied for the second NL wildcard spot. The Cardinals won at Colorado this afternoon, 10-3. The Packers and Vikings play at Lambeau Field Sunday at noon. The Packers offense, of course, a little sluggish playing at night in Chicago last Thursday. Perhaps a middle-of-the-day start at home will help Aaron Rodgers and company.
Yeah, we love more points. We'd love to help our defense out a little bit. If you watched, kind of the way that Minnesota played last week, they got off to a great start. They blocked the punt, scored a touchdown, had a turnover, touchdown, and then got to play exactly the way they wanted to. So we have to start faster, get the crowd involved early. It's a noon game. We haven't had a noon game here in a long time. It's been the better part of 9 or 10 months. So excited about that opportunity to be home, get the crowd going early. We got to start a lot faster than we did the other night.
Tomorrow night's Prep Mania game of the week is at Mansfield Stadium. Middleton visits Madison Memorial. Middleton's Callion Buckner is one of the most productive running backs in the state, and Memorial's Jason Sinetti is one of the top quarterbacks in the state. We're live tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, channel3000.com. And we'll have 3 other games live on channel3000.com tomorrow night. Edgewood at Oregon, Fort Atkinson at Stoughton, and Milton at Monona Grove. Tomorrow night, online, starting at 7. A couple of girls' volleyball matches tonight. Stoughton is at Watertown. The Goslings are ranked 5th in Division I this week. First set, Stoughton's Kat Eichster with the hit, Watertown with the overpass, Veronica Ewald with the tip kill. Later on, Watertown's Izzy Schauer sets up Marianne Gudenkoff. She tips it over for the double block, off the double block for the point. Watertown is the winner of that match tonight in Watertown. And in Lake Mills, Lakeside Lutheran hosts crosstown rivals, the L-Cats, in an early season battle for first place in the Capital North. Third set, Lakeside Lutheran's Ella DeNoyer and Peyton Keepers with a double block, Warriors up. Later on, Lake Mills, Sydney Llewellyn with a one-handed set to Sophia Lee for the kill. L-Cats won the third set, but Lakeside Lutheran takes the match in 5. And we'll be right back.
Strongest thunderstorms right now moving out of Dane County and into Jefferson and Walworth County. This line of storms moving eastward pretty rapidly, so the severe weather threat is ending, but the heavy rain threat continues for a while longer.
Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10.
Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.